The rough walls of Robyn Brown's living room were drenched in long shadows as the Arizona sun set behind the Flagstaff Mountains. The shooting had already finished earlier than planned. The boom mics had been stowed away, and the producers had taken a break to attend a meeting. It should have been one of those routine, unexciting days. But nobody knew that one of the wireless microphones attached to Kody's chest had never been shut off. Amidst the backdrop of camera bags zipped tight and crew members piling into trucks, something real, uncensored, and never intended for the ears of the public was recorded, a confession, biting and blistering. Kody leaned back on the arm of the couch, both hands running through his mussed hair. His button-down shirt was half untucked, a quiet nod to the emotional weariness that had engulfed him. Robyn stood on the other side of the room, arms locked firmly across her chest, her eyes flashing with the same bite the crew had long since learned to avoid. "You're blaming me again," she said in a flat tone. Kody let out a bitter breath. "No, I'm just holding everyone responsible." "The show, you mean?" Robyn questioned. He spoke quietly. "I mean everything. The family, this house. Hey! Hi guys, welcome back to Reality Recap. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up if you haven't yet." "This energy, you and I, it's like subconscious," he went on. Robyn interrupted. "What did you just say?" Kody didn't even look up. "It's disgusting. The way we function. The way you twist everything around. I feel like I'm drowning." That last word rang in her mind. Robyn took a step back, not as if she'd been let down, as if she'd been hit, not disappointed, something more basic, instinctual. She didn't know a backup sound recorder had remained live wedged invisibly among the bookshelves opposite her vanity. Later, her phone clutched in her hand, Robyn sat on the side of the bed, ranting to an old producer whom she trusted too much. "He actually called me ick," she snapped, her fury cracking her voice. "Meri's walking around like some tragic Victorian specter, and Janelle's pretending to be some pioneer woman martyr. Please." There was a silence. The producer attempted to placate the moment, muttering something about how uptight things had been. But Robyn wasn't done. "They're both pathetic," she spat. "Janelle plays like she's so independent, but she can't even manage to get Kody to text her back. And Meri, pathetic. That woman is literally begging for crumbs while acting like she's got some sort of authority." Her laughter was icy. "They should be thanking me. I kept this family on television. I kept Kody in check." Then there was the flash drive slipped discreetly into a mailbox following a whispered spat. A former Sister Wives editor got a small, unmarked package on his doorstep, no return address, only a flash drive with the following inscription: "Clip 14, do not delete." For curiosity or perhaps instinct, he cracked open the files and overheard something no one else should have. In days, the recording leaked. An anonymous person shared it to a secret crew message board. A Reddit forum flared like wildfire. No one could deny it. Kody's voice was unmistakable. Robyn's too. Scene switch. Late evening at Janelle's home in Flagstaff. Her phone vibrated across the counter with texts. Logan, Garrison, and Gabe already knew. Someone had posted the entire audio clip straight to Instagram captions and everything. Janelle's hand shook as she clicked play. She smiled when Robyn explained that she had a martyr complex. Not because it was humorous, it wasn't, but she anticipated it. What actually gave her pause was Kody still calling out Robyn, even with no cameras still rolling. For years, Janelle had believed he was completely obsessed with Robyn. Besotted, infatuated, even at the expense of everyone else. But no one had any idea how deep the hurt went. It was never love, Janelle told herself. It was control. And once he lost that, she began to repulse him as well. Her phone flashed. "Christine." Her voice shook on the other end as she answered. "Did you hear it?" Christine didn't have to say what she meant. "All of it," Janelle said. And I'm finished pretending like it didn't occur. The manipulation. The betrayal. Now it all added up. Scene: Parowan, Utah at Meri's B&B. Meri sat beside the window, looking out into the dying twilight. As always, she sat alone. On the little table beside her, tea in a cup had grown cold. Beside it was a printed and creased transcript. She lifted it and read what Robyn had written, the bit where she had been written about as some tragic Victorian ghost. Her chest contracted. It wasn't just hurtful, it was humiliating. Meri had heard worse in private from Kody. But hearing it from Robyn, a woman she'd considered a sister, maybe even a friend, awakened something new within her. Something definitive. She opened her laptop. For the first time ever, she created a vlog not for TLC and not for her Instagram audience, just for herself. Her tone was steady but low as she gazed into the camera and said, "I'm not a ghost. I'm not in some desperate place, and I'm tired of remaining silent. Even if you attempted to erase me from this family, you don't get the final word." Scene: Executive Boardroom, TLC headquarters. Tension hummed through the network's upper floor. Legal staff rushed to quantify liability in the wake of the released recording. Spin doctors rushed to prepare soft landing press statements. But backstage, producers recognized the moment for what it was: not a crisis, but season gold. "This isn't a scandal," one producer acknowledged. "This is the story. Raw, real. People crave the claws, the tears, the truth, not a script." Cut to Robyn's house. Red-eyed and furious, Robyn paced in short bursts, her voice rising. "They're making me out to be the villain," she shouted at Kody. He sat in silence, staring at the floor. "Say something," she demanded. He finally spoke. "I don't have the words." "You're just going to sit there?" "You said that, Robyn," he said. "You belittled the woman who raised my kids. You cut them down when you didn't think anyone was going to hear it." "I was blowing off steam," she snapped. "You said you were the only one who counted, that everybody else was just placeholders." Kody shook his head. "I called you because I felt it, that change. For the first time, I saw what they'd been seeing all along." Robyn's eyes welled with tears. "Are you leaving me?" she whispered. "I'm not going anywhere," he spoke softly, "but I'm finished defending you." Then he stood up and walked out of the room. Not forever, but for the first time he didn't turn around. Autumn crawled into northern Arizona. Wind curled through the cul-de-sac where memories, both holy and bitter, still clung to the air like ghosts. Robyn's home, once a haven, suddenly felt like the eye of the storm. Inside, chairs had been pushed aside to provide room for a sit-down. But this was not TLC's handiwork. This was not for the cameras. Janelle had arranged it, behind closed doors. She contacted Meri herself, not through a producer. "No drama," she told her. "No quote factory. Just facts." Scene: midday, Robyn's living room. She stood rigidly beside the kitchen island, wearing leggings and a gray cardigan. Her arms crossed firmly, her pale face drawn and her eyes rimmed with red. When she heard a knock ringing through the door, she stopped. She opened the door slowly and saw Janelle enter, first clad in a long green coat and boots, her expression cool but sharp with barely contained fury. Meri followed, her maroon shawl wrapped tightly around her, hair pulled back into a clean braid. Her expression was flat. No greeting, no warmth, just quiet. After a long pause, Robyn finally spoke. "I didn't think you'd come." "You shouldn't be surprised," Janelle said, her tone controlled. "We needed to hear it from you." Years of bitter holidays and strained dinners had led to this reckoning. They gathered around the heavy wooden table. Meri spoke up first. Her tone low, even, but shaking. "I read what you wrote about me. I heard it. And I need to ask you something straight out. Do you consider me desperate?" Robyn tilted her head and blinked. Meri, I didn't. You said I was a ghost, Meri interrupted, her voice sharpening. Say it, with the same conviction that you held when you thought no one heard. Robyn stuttered. I was ranting. I didn't mean you exactly. Oh, it was, Janelle spat coldly. You positioned yourself as the victim to the world and tore us apart behind doors. You used your tears as weapons. You made yourself the center of Kody's world and then ridiculed the women who contributed to it. Robyn gripped the back of her chair and stood up. You don't think I've suffered? You think it's been easy being the scapegoat of this family? Janelle's tone sliced through the air, icy and measured. Robyn, you are not the scapegoat. You are the architect. Robyn winced, the words sting like a slap. Janelle didn't let up. You bullied Kody into putting us in isolation. And when things didn't go your way, you wept where the cameras weren't watching. You said things you thought would never be heard. But we heard them now. And they weren't just mean, they were deliberate. Pieces of the leaked audio resonate in their heads, Robyn labeling Meri pathetic, making fun of Janelle's independence, laughing that she was the only wife who counted. Robyn's lip quivered at the table. I was angry and frustrated, she said barely above a whisper, and I never meant to hurt you. Meri's voice broke, her head shaking. You did hurt me. You acted like my sister. And you sat in silence with me. You let me rot. Janelle's voice fell, softer now but no less firm. We both sacrificed our lives to this family. I took in your kids as mine. I fought for this all this time after Kody's love was lost, but now I see I didn't lose to you. I lost to the vision of you in Kody's head. At last, Robyn collapsed back into her chair. Her defenses, her scrupulously burnished armor, cracked at last. I didn't know how to share him, she whispered. Meri raised a brow. Then why join a plural family? Silence. Heavy. Unshakable. I thought I could do it, Robyn said softly. But I was afraid. I felt like I had to protect him, because if I didn't, I'd end up like us. That was when Meri lost control. Tears brimmed in Robyn's eyes. It's not what I meant to happen, she whispered weakly. But it did. Janelle answered matter-of-factly. The air was crisp. The sky hung low with quiet. But it wasn't forgiveness they bore. It was transparency. Meri and Janelle walked into the cold, each of them breathing deeply. Something inside them, something deeply buried, felt lighter than it had in years. He's not hers anymore, Janelle said. Meri nodded. He never belonged to anyone in the first place. They left without looking back. Inside, Robyn still sat alone at the table, her crying reverberating off the walls. It wasn't quiet. It was punitive. He sat cross-legged on the ground, leaned against piles of boxes yet to be opened. The audio cycled again. Cody and Robin's voices, cruel and indifferent, echoed off the vacant space. He didn't weep. He wasn't upset. It wasn't the wives who had left him. While sitting amidst the ruins of what once was, the truth was starkly clear. He was the one responsible for the breakdown of the family. And now, everything that had been kept underground for all those years was surfacing and bearing down on Robyn as well. Just like Meri and Christine before her, Janelle Brown has entered a brand new chapter of life. But her path isn't about romance or commodified getaways or an edited influencer lifestyle. Rather, Janelle is opting for something more subdued, something authentic. Her life is now about simple happiness, time with her children, meaningful friendships, and a gentler sense of independence. All three women, since leaving Kody Brown, have demonstrated alternate trajectories. Christine, beaming with David Woolley, successful in her intermingled family and chic Lizzie's heritage retreats. Meri, in her lone wolf persona, with her own business and solitude. But Janelle? She stepped out of the limelight a little, Her social media posts are scarce, true, nearly intimate love notes to a life she's creating on her own terms. She's not seeking validation via romance reports or photo opportunity moments. She's forging something richer, new connections, non-performance connection, a life unfiltered. And that's what fans have always adored about her. Because unlike the rest, Janelle genuinely appreciated the polygamist way of life. She attempted to make it work. Janelle shared a selfie in her vehicle with her new close friends Christina and Angela. The three of them donned bright green visors with the caption, "Wasted Sacrifice." On the surface glance, it appeared playful like a goofy inside joke. But under the humor lay something caustic. Janelle had devoted more than 20 years to a plural marriage that required constant emotional concession. That visor phrase turned the tables. Her caption stated, "Tonight, thanks to friends old and new." That last line can be read as plain, but the thankfulness bites deep. It humbly suggests what the show always intimated. Janelle sacrificed so much. Now, she gets to joke about it. More importantly, she's moved on. Among all the wives on Sister Wives, Janelle was the least emotional and the most independent. She avoided drama, concentrated on her career and children, and even kept emotions hidden most of the time. But in the new chapter of her life that she's currently living on social media, we get something quite different, a carefree woman surrounded not by fellow wives, but actual friends. A woman opting for road trips, laughter, and freedom. In April 2025, Janelle had shared a happy picture of herself and her girlfriends out having fun together. The accompanying caption told us just how far she'd come. "When I was deeply invested in raising children and employed full-time, I did not necessarily have friends outside of work or relatives." That single sentence captured what fans have known for years. Janelle wasn't living, she was just surviving. She wasn't chasing connection or attention. She was managing a full household, earning an income, and trying to make peace within a plural marriage that offered very little space for her personal growth. Now, though, everything feels different. She's writing about girls' weekends in Santa Fe. She's discussing inside jokes, goofy games, and birthday nights that lead to laughter, not drama. In contrast to the group scenes on television, there's no underlying shade, no passive aggression masked by forced smiles. These are real moments, and what's more, they're healing. Janelle, the same woman who used to claim she didn't need emotional support from the other wives, is now welcoming support from women who offer it freely and not asking for anything in return. One of the most steadfast facts about Janelle while on Sister Wives was that she never trashed the polygamous lifestyle. Actually, she defended it. She repeatedly expressed her passion for independence, and in several interviews, she stated she didn't need a husband's constant emotional support. That's why she was arguably the most compatible with Kody. Christine craved romance. Meri wanted validation. But Janelle, she accepted the freedom, and that's why her evolution is so impactful. She didn't fly off the handle. She stepped away because the structure simply no longer accommodated her. Now, she's taking the good stuff back: camaraderie, encouragement, community without the disorder, the spiritual toll, or emotional loss. Her new relationships reflect sisterhood at its best. They visit, and they depart. They giggle. They support. And for Janelle, that might be the most wholesome, safest kind of plural connection she's experienced in years. On season 19 of Sister Wives, fans were struck with emotional bombshells and some of the Brown family's most explosive tension ever. The season came with some unexpected struggles, such as the tragic loss of Garrison, who died tragically earlier in his mid-20s. His passing weighed heavily on the family. They all came together in Wyoming to bury him most for the first time since leaving Kody. The other main theme of the season was the Coyote Pass land dispute, which became so heated that it was legally resolved by the courts. But it was the one-on-one specials that had people really talking. In those one-on-one interviews with host Suki Krishnan, Cody and Robyn endured tough questions regarding their future, including whether plural marriage was even an option anymore. While Cody is now legally married only to Robyn, the youngest of his former wives, veteran fans will recall how it all came apart. Christine was the first to split in late 2021. Janelle and Meri were not far behind. Both of the women spoke candidly in their one-on-one interviews about what really went wrong. Christine, for example, candidly explained how the emotional and physical intimacy had all but vanished in the last few years of her marriage. Janelle, on the other hand, described how Cody would repeatedly go on the attack, attempting to flip on the very women who were distancing themselves from him when he figured out that they were all making an exit. So when Cody's one-on-one special finally premiered, he seemed to be ready, perhaps even looking forward to setting the record straight from his perspective. Throughout the episode, Suki mentioned that Cody was now involved in a monogamous relationship, with Robyn keeping in mind that Christine, Meri, and Janelle had all, in their own respective ways, decided to end things with him. Several viewers observed how quickly he became defensive throughout the interview. Some even thought he had an undercurrent of anger throughout. When questioned if he could envision himself going back to polygamy one day, something ingrained in the religion he grew up with, Cody did not mince words. Actually, he was uncommonly candid. It was obvious he had already come to terms with it. "I am no longer interested in plural marriage," he said. "I do not want to pursue another woman. I do not want the headache. I am just not in that place." They were raw, even a bit crude but sincere. However, he was sure to mention one thing he didn't regret: the children. He confirmed that the one lasting, positive result of the plural family existence was the children, and he was thankful for that. Robyn also spoke of the future of plural marriage, but with a twist. She confessed that although she had always anticipated spending her life in a plural marriage, things had not turned out the way she wanted. The direction she once desired was destroyed by how all things with Cody turned out. Nevertheless, Robyn clarified that she was standing on her husband's side. She was not seeking another relationship, and she felt safe in the life they have now. Of course, Cody and Robyn aren't alone in leaving plural marriage behind. One of his former spiritual wives, Christine, has since remarried and matter-of-factly declared she was always destined to be in a monogamous relationship. She's now blissfully married to David Woolley, and the two are living a new life together, one of mutual respect, harmony, and joy. And as for Meri and Cody, their situation went in a very unexpected direction after they broke up for the last time. Even though they were divorced legally years ago in 2014 so Cody could marry Robyn and adopt her kids, Meri and Cody were spiritually married until the year 2022. That's when Meri asked for a legal religious release, closing out a 32-year-old relationship, but even then, some very unexpected teary moments occurred between them. In a November 2024 episode, Cody tearfully helped Meri pack as she prepared to move to Utah. The moment left Meri confused, unsure why this version of Cody, full of emotion, was suddenly emerging. Despite their rocky past, including Meri's 2015 catfishing scandal, there now seems to be a layer of mutual respect between them. There is no romance, no rekindling anything. But the hurt has frozen into something less charged, less warm. They are separated, and their interactions, as Meri told Us Weekly in an interview in December 2024, are fine when necessary, but not warm. That's a telling statement. A sort of functional closeness exists, but nothing more. Remember, Meri was Cody's first wife in their plural marriage adventure. Their spiritual union began back in April 1990, when Meri was just 19 and Kody was 22. Their connection had been deeply rooted in their shared belief system under the Apostolic United Brethren Church. In 1995, they welcomed their only child together, Mariah, now known as Leon Brown. But Meri's struggles with infertility created tension early on. In the years that followed, Kody spiritually wed Janelle in 1993, Christine in 1994, and ultimately Robyn in 2010. Although Meri was still spiritually married to Kody for several years following their formal divorce, all of that changed when Robyn and her children arrived on the scene. She finally let go legally, spiritually, and emotionally. And today, like the other women, she's moved forward. Leave us a comment with what you think, and don't forget to subscribe to be in the know with all the latest from Reality Recap. Thanks for watching.